Hey, thanks for being with me. I'm Dan McNeil. You're listening to and hopefully watching the Danny Mac podcast. Coming up today, Herm Edwards, the opinionated and highly energetic former head coach, has some thoughts on what Caleb Williams could have had back before the Bears even got to camp, but they didn't get it for him. And what happened once Matt Eberflus got his boys to camp? They missed something there too. Herm Edwards has plenty of opinions. You'll hear them in just a moment. I want to remind all of you who enjoy wagering a few dollars on college and pro football, you can take advantage of Bet Rivers Squares. Play the same game in-game parlays to earn squares that can earn you profit boosts, bonus bets, and $10,000 jackpots. Check it all out. Navigate your way around your Bet Rivers app and find out creative and entertaining ways you can profit on all things football.
You're now watching the Danny Mac podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.
Because of Jayden Daniels' early success, everybody in America has been wanting to talk to Herm Edwards, who coached him, who recruited him to Arizona State, and I'm among those. But man, I'm going to be selfish right out of the gate, Coach, since our circles did not intersect. But for a month when I was with ESPN, I have to go to defense first, if you don't mind. Can we talk a little old school defense first?
Sure. We don't even talk about defense until the fourth quarter when you got to lead. Everybody hollering, defense, defense. I get it.
I have been incredibly dissatisfied with the answers I'm getting from some of my favorite defensive regulars, guys on the 85 Bears. Your former colleague, Tony Dungy, was with me 2 weeks ago, and nobody is giving me the answer I'm looking for. How come defensive backs don't want to tackle in the 21st century? Please shed some illumination on this critical topic.
Well, here's what I would say. They all think they're cover guys. And that gives them an out almost. Oh, I'm a cover guy. No, you got to tackle, because that is the problem. Missed tackles, especially in the secondary. Because when you miss them back there, it becomes an issue. It becomes a long play, right? And generally, back in the day, the safeties, and this, you had Plank and those guys in Chicago that were safeties and would come down and make all the tackles. And the corners, per se, and Dion came out with this statement when he was playing. I can remember he says, well, I'm a cover corner. So all these corners think now they're cover corners. And when I was in Tampa Bay with Lynch and Ronde Barber, I told those guys, there ain't no such thing as a cover corner. If you're a cover corner, you can sit right over there on that bench and cover the bench. I said, you're going to have to tackle. And Tony was big on that too. We're old school guys. We said, look, you're going to have to tackle. And the key to tackling, for the most part, and they don't talk about it enough, nowhere to miss. In other words, when you're a corner, 95% of the time, you're coming from outside in to make a tackle. From outside in. You're the leverage of the defense. If you miss them inside. Force the runner or the ball carrier to go inside because the pursuit is running inside out. But I see guys, they don't even know where to miss. They get head up on a guy. You can never get head up on a guy with the ball. You always have to take the side, and you take the leverage side where you force them back into the pursuit. Just little things like that I watch. That, and you know what drives me crazy? We don't teach these guys to play the ball. They never look for the ball. The DBs never look for the ball. They're in perfect position, and you see them grabbing and what. Just turn your head and play the ball. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's in the air. Play the ball. Guys don't do it. It's unbelievable.
I'm with you on that. That's much closer to the answers I've been looking for on this. Everybody wants to point to tougher rules on defenders. And yes, the rules are tougher. But when it's obvious you can get a clean shot on somebody and communicate a message that you're there to play, I get so sick of seeing guys shoving guys out of bounds when receivers pull up and give them a clean target. Play the game physically. And that's been lost. And I don't know if it's because of self-preservation, because the money's great and I don't begrudge them the money. I don't think you do either. But it's ridiculous how the lack of physical play has really permeated both positions, corner and safety.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's a different style. It's a wide open game now. It's played outside the numbers a lot anymore. It's a game where the quarterback, obviously, he's the guy that really orchestrates most of these offenses. And this is why it's kind of ironic because early in the season, due to the fact, and this is another reason they miss a lot of tackles early, the veterans don't play in the preseason. It's like they wear baseball hats. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
let me get this right. You signed on to play football. It's football season. It was mandatory. When I was a head coach, I told the veterans, I said, look, all you guys are going to participate in the preseason. Now, what I used to do, I'd get the old vet and say, look, we got 3-4 games. You're going to play 75 live snaps in 4 games just to get ready for it, right? Because you have to play tackle football. And now, right now, the first 4 games of the season, they're preseason games, except they count. That's why you're seeing bad football.
It's, and if Andy Reid can play his guys with all they've accomplished in August, why can't Matt Eberflus is what we've been wondering in Chicago, and we're now wondering it for 3 straight years. Their new running back, DeAndre Swift, finally got going this past week in their 4th game. He had 2 snaps in the preseason, Herm. 2. Play football to get better at it, right?
You can't. You signed on to play football. You play football for a living. Go play. Look, and they're gonna say, well, he's the grumpy old coach. He's the grumpy old player. Because I'm about to say something. Okay, I grew up in an era. There were 6 preseason games. 6. You went to training camp for 2 months. 6 preseason games, 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I get in there, and Dick Vermeil's our coach. He's the taskmaster. We got 125 guys in training camp. Started every preseason game, my whole career.
Uh-huh.
Every single one of them. And if you'd have told me I'm not going to play, I said, I'm playing. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm going to play. It's football time. Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, maybe when the CBA in 10 years, I think the next CBA we're almost 10 years from it. Actually, not quite so long. I think 31.
Yeah. Right.
Man, I hope I still know what I'm looking at by
what's
2031.
Happen, you'll like this part. They'll get 18 regular season games. Then there'll only be 2 preseason games. Right. And I get preseason. You need them. You need to evaluate young players, but you also need to evaluate your starters and get them ready to play football. They don't have to play a whole game, but the first groups need to play together. I always tell guys, they need to fall on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
See what that feels like before a regular season game.
Yeah. All right, Herm, here is the $64,000 question.
Sure.
Both quarterbacks have played 4 games. Jayden Daniels is 3-1 and is completing 82% of his passes. He has only been intercepted once. He has 3 touchdowns. In Chicago, Caleb Williams' Bears are 2-2. He's completing 61% of his passes, 3 TD passes, 4 interceptions, a rating of 72. Did the Bears draft the wrong quarterback is what people are asking after 1 month of football.
No. I just think they're different players. Jayden Daniels, I had him when he was a freshman. I know him very well. I talk to him once a week, even right today. First of all, when you draft a quarterback, you have to ask yourself this question. Is it the system or is it the quarterback? Right? A lot of quarterbacks fail because of the system. You ask them to play your system, they're not capable of doing that. Cliff Kingsbury has a heads up on everybody. Cliff Kingsbury was in Arizona. Cliff Kingsbury was my 5th quarterback at the Jets at one time. He knows Jayden very well. When Jayden gets there, he says, look, I'm building an offense around you. Jayden does this very well. Throws the deep ball. He can throw the deep ball. There ain't no doubt. He's played 55 games of college football. He's not like a 2-year guy, 3-year guy. No, he's got a lot of experience. He doesn't turn the ball over. He didn't in college. He's not a turnover guy. You don't got to worry about that with him. The only thing I used to tell him all the time, you got to know when the journey's over, partner, and start sliding. I had to jump on him the week before last because he did the tumble. When I call him, hey, don't start that mess. Oh, coach, start sliding. Just slide. I don't want to hear it. right? But so he's in a situation where, first of all, the expectations weren't as high. He's going to Washington. They're in the NFC East. They got this Dallas, it's the Eagles. They got this rookie quarterback. I said, okay, be careful. Because it's not too big for Jayden Daniels. It's just not. He's that kind of personality. And people say, well, who is he? I said, I told him this in college. He reminds me a lot of Randall Cunningham. Same height, same weight. Reminds me a lot of Randall. Kind of plays like Randall does.
That's a pretty good comparison. That's one of the more underrated quarterbacks, I think, of his era. And yeah. I was field level at the Fog Bowl when he ripped up the Bears for 400 plus yards. If Keith Jackson would have caught one early in the game, maybe the Eagles win that football game. What a terrible game. What a decision. The league didn't want to stop it. They let Buddy and Mike Ditka, and that was kind of a big dick contest, so they were going to keep playing. Anyway, I'm getting off the track. Have you seen enough? Because it's, all the armchair quarterbacks locally just drive me nuts. Have you seen enough of the Bears to have an educated opinion on whether Shane Waldron is giving Caleb Williams those opportunities to do what he does? Is he designing the offense around what Williams does best?
There's a fine line because Caleb is such a talented player. He has the ability, and he's been given the reins, especially in college, because of who his coach was. You can play out of structure. Well, that's kind of all he knows right now. You can't continue every play to play out of structure in the NFL. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So he's dealing with that, trying to play in structure, trying to play in a league now where, guess what? These players are really good. You ain't the best player on the field anymore. You're one of the best, but you ain't the best, right? And offensive line at times, what are they? How do you define the Chicago Bears? Defensively, you know what? At times, pretty good, okay? But offensively, and they have skilled players, but how do you get them all involved in this offense with a quarterback that likes playing out of structure? That's the give and take that you're finding out right now as an offensive coordinator and Caleb as a quarterback.
What do you think is best for them as they navigate their way through this first season?
Well, I just think as you continue to go and gather information about Caleb, and I think he's going to gain more confidence. He played a lot better last week, right? But see, remember, he came out of a system that he never really had a good defense in college. His mind was always, I got to score 50, right? Because my defense gives up 40. I just do. I got to score points. So now he gets in the NFL and he feels like, I got to score points. I got to make it happen. No. You just play within the system. We'll allow you get out of structure on these plays. But I've always said this. Quarterbacks with long careers learn how to play from the pocket. They learn how to play from the pocket. Mm-hmm. You got to play in there. Because once you get out of structure, it becomes chaos. And you might hit a big play every once in a while. But there's a lot of negative plays in that too, especially in the NFL. Yeah. So this is work in progress. We're seeing a young rookie quarterback, like a lot of these young guys. And the problem is the way Jayden Daniels is playing, everybody's questioning, why? Jayden hadn't hit the bad spot yet.
Yeah.
He's going to hit a few.
Yeah. And it hasn't helped because Justin Fields is doing well with the Steelers. And everybody wants to pile in on the back end. It's made for a messy first month. And
it has. But Justin Fields went to a winning organization that they don't put a lot of stress on the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Why? They don't give up a lot of points. They run. It's mandatory you run the football. We don't care who you are. We're going to run the football. And these games are going to be tight in the fourth quarter. And that's how we win around here. So now he goes to a place, look, I don't have to be the guy.
Yeah.
I just need to drive the car. Just drive the car, man. You might only throw 20 passes. It don't matter. Just 20. Yeah. Just make sure, I'm going to keep you out of third and longs.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how we play offense. You ain't going to be in third and longs, right? And so it's just understand the philosophy, understand where you're going. That's the Pittsburgh way.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
that has mirrored Chicago that's what the Bears have been for 105 years. Run the damn ball, stop the run, get after the quarterback. And that's okay. But some people didn't want to hear that after. And they did exactly what you said. They were 3 of 9 in third down this past week because they didn't get in third and long all day. They played smarter in that. And you can't make everybody happy because people
and you know this. Look, you play outside.
Yeah.
You don't have a dome. After December hits, partner, good luck. You play outside.
Yeah.
And if you can't run the ball, you got a problem.
Let me rewind you because this deserved a follow-up and I let it go. When you were talking about Cliff Kingsbury,
yes,
he was a finalist for the Bears job. And the Bears have made some critical errors, not just historically with head coaching decisions, but with assistants. They've let some guys slip away. Was that a critical error not getting Kingsbury here? And I don't know how it bellied up. I don't have the details. I'm not as connected as I once was, but that looked like something that would have made it a nice fit for Caleb given their association at SC.
Well, but then you got to deal with and the media is the media. Oh, you're hiring him because of the quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury is a good football coach. He's a good football coach. And I've known him a long time. I knew he was going to be a coach when he was the 5th string quarterback with me in New York. I knew he was going to be in the coaching profession. And he understands the position. He understands the talent of the quarterback that he has. And, when he was at Arizona, he had Kyler Murray. So he understands that athletic quarterback that wants to play out of structure. Mm-hmm. He will design some things for him so he's comfortable where he can play out of structure. But then he's going to ask him, hey, look, you got to play in structure on these now. I'm going to give you this, but you got to give me this, right? And so he gets that part of it. And so when you have a quarterback that can talk to a quarterback and they're on the same wavelength, that's important.
Mike Martz was one of those offensive minds who came here for a very short period of time. He and Cutler had a difficult time connecting. Mike admits a lot of that was on him. The Bears made a bad choice on Greg Olsen and let him walk, traded him to Carolina. He carved out a borderline Hall of Fame career there as a tight end. Maybe some people say it's not even borderline. He should go in his first opportunity, and you look at the numbers, they don't necessarily diffuse that. Has the Bears situation ever, and you know what perception is in your fraternity around the league, has it ever stabilized in the coaching community, the Bears administratively?
Because not really because of the fact that there's so much change, right? There's constantly change. And I think a lot of it has to do with when you have an organization, you got to ask yourself, what are we? How do we build our foundation? What is our foundation? When you say Chicago Bears, you go, ooh, defense. You don't even stutter. You grow up in the world that I grew up, you go, ooh, defense. It's almost like the fan base expects you to play defense. They really do. It's like, wait a minute, this is what we do here. We play defense in Chicago. We're okay. Even though we say it's a passing league and it's all that, I get all that. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to make some stops on defense to win. You're just going to have to.
Yeah.
And so when you think about this organization, you go, Minnesota Vikings used to be called what? Purple People Eaters.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold has found a resurrection in Minnesota. You say what you want. They're playing good defense. They're sacking the quarterback. They're taking the ball away. It's just, they're playing defense, right? It's just, so I think you have a really talented quarterback, but it's not 7-on-7. It doesn't look right if the Chicago Bears come out here and start playing 7-on-7. It's like, the Chicago Bears, that's not even who they are. Just be who you are. And get a coach that understands that. And build your team around that. They got some good parts. And, it's a long season, and they'll figure it out, hopefully, but that's just me. And look, I've been in that league over 30 years, playing and coaching. And some teams, it's just go, okay. The Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I learned when I was a rookie there? They expect you to play defense. You better play defense in Philadelphia. We can have all the offense you want, but at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers playing that great state, you better play defense. That's fans come to the game to go, okay, how's our defense?
Shit, Coach, your rookie year with the Eagles, I had a poster of Bill frickin' Berge on my wall, man. I was a squatty nose guard who wanted to. Yeah, that's my language, but you do have to score some points. Do they have that coach who's going to figure this out? Where should a Bears fan level of optimism be based on what you just said about the Vikings with Sam Darnold and we already know about the Lions and Packers?
I think if you're the Bears, you saw some progress with the quarterback. Can he build on last week? I think it caught him by surprise that the game was so fast. And it catches a lot of these rookie quarterbacks. And, he had all the accolades, rightly so. And then all of a sudden he started playing. He was like, oh, man, this is different. Yeah, it's a lot different, right? It's a lot. In college football, there's a short side of the field and a long side of the field. In pro football, the ball was always in the middle because of the hash marks, right? So it's different. And I love it. I just watch it and I laugh because I remember when I was a rookie. Hey, I know I'm going on. I give you the greatest story. Here's a great story. You remember Roger Carr?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
The big-eared wide receiver from the Baltimore Colts, number 81.
He had the big ears, and when he took his helmet off, it's like calling taxi cab. Car doors open, right? And so he's number 81, and I'm a rookie, and Burt Jones is the quarterback. And we go down there, and about the second series, I said, man, I'm going to go up and press this guy. White guy, 81. I said, oh, yeah, Roger Carr out there. I go up to press him, and I bump him, and we start running down the field. And at about 15 yards, he's pulling away, and I'm going, and I'm running really hard now. And about 20 yards, he's still pulling away. I'm going, oh, my God. And I'm running. And Burt Jones throws it the other way. And so we come jogging back. And he jogs up on the side of me, and he said, hey, rookie. He's Southwest Louisiana. He said, hey, rookie, I know what you was thinking. I'm a white guy and I can't run. He said, but I can run fast. And I looked at him and I said, you can run real fast. And I went back to the huddle and I said, man, who's this dude 81? He said, man, that's Roger Carr, man. That dude can run 4.4. Tell me, tell you what, I was unbelievable, man. Oh, boy.
Welcome to the league, young man. That's good stuff.
Welcome to the league. Welcome to the league.
Herm, when you cross 60, you're given license to yell at the clouds if you don't like the complexion of the sky and what they're doing to your day. When you reach 70, no holds barred. Which NFL head coach today is the one you envy the least based on everything that he's dealing with his ownership group, with his roster, with the climate maybe in the division? You have your choice of 32 headmasters. Which guy is in the toughest chair right now?
In the tough chair. And I will say this. Well, I'm not going to say New England. That's an easy one because you're following Bill Belichick. They expected to rebuild.
But you got a supportive owner too.
Yeah. And the fans know it. They've had Camelot for 20 years.
Yes.
They had Captain America, Bill, so they're fine. The Jets is one that's interesting. There's a stormy romance there. That's the one in the AFC. NFC, Eagles. That ain't right. Something's wrong. It just don't feel right. It don't look right. It's just something is, it's just, ooh. No one's saying anything. But you just being in the league and watching it unfold, you go, it's interesting. I know this. Quarterback and head coach are tied to the hip. When they're not saying the same thing, that's not good. They got to be on the same page when they win and when they lose. Every guy got to be on the same page. Let me tell you something I learned. When the game's over, first person I go see when the game's over, even walking in the tunnel, whether you win or lose, quarterback. And I tell him this, hey, this is where I'm coming from when I go talk home. he'd know exactly where I'm coming from. And I said, because he's going to talk to him too. He talked to the press too now. He didn't have to exactly say what I say, but this is the theme. I gave him the theme. Here's the theme, man. We good? Coach, we're good. We're good. Okay. How you feeling? Okay. I gather information from him. He gathers information from me, and we go. Got to be on the same page with that guy.
Yeah. So Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts have some work to be done. And see, Saquon Barkley looks like it's a nice little fix-all here, but you're saying otherwise. That's going to be interesting to watch.
Then the first 2 weeks, you're thinking, yeah, but the defense is still young secondary. They only got 5 sacks. 2 years ago, they had 70. They got 5. They can't rush the passer. This was a team that kind of fell apart toward the end. They started the season, everybody thought it was fixed. I'm looking at the same problem.
Herm, I'm going to text our mutual pal Mike Greenberg and let him know that the Jets were your answer in the AFC. So it's you can blame me if he's calling you, asking you for an interview because
Greeny knows that. I talk to Greeny all the time. And,
he's on the ledge.
I think they'll get over it. But that was a bad loss.
Yeah, it sure was.
Against Denver?
That was a bad game. Wow.
It was funny. Aaron Rodgers had 3 possessions at the end of it, right? And I know he's not in tune with his guys, but you know what was really mind-boggling after all of it? And he stood up and he said, hey, it was on me. I got to play better. Okay, well. But then he said something like, well, the weather. And I went, he didn't say weather. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the weather. I don't know. I didn't go over this.
Coach, no, man, this is great. I get up every day and I broadcast to win the podcast. And today,
there you go.
We did that, man. Thank you for the visit. I enjoyed it enormously.
Thank you, my friend. Good visiting with you. God bless.
Herm Edwards, longtime broadcaster and veteran of the NFL. He's got coaching credentials, and it's always fun catching up with him. I want to thank Randy Merkin, who is the guy who gets me all of my A-list guests for you. Hoping Luke Kuechly is part of the mix before the Bears and Panthers get going on Sunday. Sam Michael is my executive producer. Adam Delavit runs the show for the Bet Rivers Podcast Network. Thank you so much for listening. Those of you YouTube customers, thank you for watching. I'm Danny Mac. Go Bears.